Football is back, baby. The Georgia Bulldogs are going to be playing on Saturday. We are just a few short days away from that. Got to watch week 0 this past weekend. The Florida Gators are going to play on Thursday, so you'll get to see one of Georgia's biggest rivals play this week. That'll be an interesting one at Utah. Look, Georgia dealing with some injuries right now, right? Nothing that they haven't dealt with in years past. These off-season injuries that kind of bleed into the season. The only significant one that we know about so far is Branson Robinson. Obviously missed last week, but Kirby Smart on Monday gave us updates on McConkey, Kendall Milton, a lot of those guys that are dealing with some nicks here and there. Are these guys going to play on week 1? Well, we're going to work through that, figure that out. I think that a lot of these guys have a chance to play week 1 if they're not for sure going to play, but Georgia's injured right now. The good news is I don't think that many of them are that serious, but they are dealing with some injuries, and that could create some depth issues. So let's dive into that. Ryan Curley from Dog Post. Hey, real quick, before I start, the newsletter is down below. I've linked it down below. It is free. It is our insider newsletter, and you're going to get those stories in your inbox every single day. You won't have to miss it. Oh, what's going on with the Georgia Bulldogs? Check your email, bro. It's in your email. Right there from Dog Post. That's where you're going to go to find all your Georgia Bulldogs news, right down below. It is free. I say that again because everyone likes free stuff, right? You like free stuff. I like free stuff. Click the link down below. And you won't miss out on news like Lad McConkey is going to be fine. That's what Kirby Smart had to say. I'm going to read the exact quote. Lad's doing great. We had to shut him down for a little bit. He was dealing with a little bit of a back injury. And then he later went on to say that he would practice today on Monday. So at this point, he's practiced, right? Because 7 o'clock on a Monday is when this video is going out. And, we didn't see him at practice last week. This is where the reporting was coming from. There was an open viewing period last Wednesday during practice. Media got to go. Me and Dean were both there, right? We had 2 sets of eyeballs this time. It wasn't just me. So Dean and I were both there. Neither of us saw Lad McConkey. Well, we don't know what's going on with Lad McConkey. When you don't hear a lot, it's usually a good thing, right? And so now today, we find out that Lad's going to be fine. He's practicing, and I think he's good to go this week, barring any setbacks. But running backs, right? We already discussed Branson Robinson a little bit, but Daijun Edwards, the same day that we found out about Branson Robinson being out for the season, we found out that Daijun Edwards is dealing with an MCL injury. Kirby Smart said, here's what he said exactly. Daijun was dealing with an MCL. He had one last year, but he's actually doing great. He's going to practice today. So Daijun Edwards also practicing on Monday. His partner in the backfield, Kendall Milton, he's also been dealing with a hamstring injury. He's been dealing with that injury for most of camp. This is something that Kendall Milton's dealt with in the past. So Kirby today said he's around the 80-90% mark. Look, if I had to guess, I think Kendall Milton's going to play on Saturday, but if one of them's not going to play, it's not going to be Kendall Milton. That's kind of where we're at with this thing. I think Daijun Edwards is going to play on Saturday. I don't know about Kendall Milton, but if you ask Kirby today, he would have said he doesn't know about any of them, which is probably true, if we're being quite honest. People kind of get on Kirby about giving vague answers, but do you think Kirby really knows? I mean, you got to wait till game time for some of these things. I think Daijun Edwards is good to go. You do worry about Kendall Milton with the hamstring and that being maybe something that gets repetitive, but he is close to being back is the essential message there. But look, let's say neither of them go on Saturday. Who's going to be starting running back for Georgia? It's going to be guys like Cash Jones and Roger Robinson and Andrew Paul. Those are the 3 guys you'll see featured the most on Saturday if Edwards and Milton aren't able to go. And maybe those are the guys you'll see featured the most regardless. When you're playing a team like UT Martin, you're probably going to blow them out, and those guys need rest, right? So I doubt we see a big Kendall Milton, Daijun Edwards kind of day on Saturday, but trending in the right direction, and that's the important thing to note in this situation. So defense, real quick, Lawson Lucky, that was the other more significant one. TBD on when he's coming back, but he's had his tightrope surgery on the ankle, and he is out of the boot. But that is an important injury. You get 4 scholarship tight ends, right? And one of them is not in the picture right now. Pierce Sperlin picking up the slack, fellow freshman for Georgia, along with Lucky. Lucky was ahead of Sperlin in the depth chart before this thing went down, and Sperlin has taken advantage of those reps now. Bowers today said he was doing well. Defense, Kamari Lassiter's kind of been the biggest one on defense, injury-wise, especially because we don't really know who the other corner is quite yet. That's still an open competition, according to Kirby Smart, and I don't know that we'll have the answer immediately week 1. It might not be the same. Every week's a competition at Georgia, though. So Kamari Lassiter is fine, according to Kirby. He's been wearing that black non-contact jersey at practice, and that apparently is a precaution. Let's get the exact quote. Kamari's fine. He's been practicing for the last couple of weeks. He kept it pretty simple on some of these. But Kamari Lassiter, he has been drilling at the very minimum. He's been drilling, but it sounds like he's been practicing more in full. Kamari and that black non-contact, it is precautionary. David Daniel, turf toe. Kirby said he's also fine, right? He kept that pretty simple. Kirby said he's fine. David Daniel's a guy who is going to be roped onto the field. He's going to get playing time. He's going to get playing time whether he's a starter or not. You will see David Daniel. Others. Smile Mondin. That was the one that kind of didn't get discussed, but saw him at practice last week, non-contact jersey. I think he'll be good to go. We'll have to wait and see about that. Look, it is not the end of the world if any of these guys miss time on Saturday. It's not the end of the world when you've got the beginning to the season that you have. But you want your guys to play. You want your players to play. It does matter, but not the end of the world. So, Georgia, that's what they're dealing with as far as injuries go. If Ladd McConkey doesn't play in a game, they've got Dominic Lovett. They've got Arian Smith. They've got Marcus Smith-Jackson. But look, Ladd McConkey is probably your wide receiver 1, right? And he definitely gets that national attention more so than any wide receiver in the Georgia Bulldog room, right? And he deserves it. Ladd McConkey's been a great receiver for Georgia the last couple of years. It's funny, when Bowers is your main weapon, sometimes it's hard to look at a number 1 receiver, but that's been Ladd McConkey pretty much. And he's got the most playing time and experience out of these wide receivers that are going to play this season for Georgia. But if he's not there, it's not the end of the world. I'm whispering that it's not, because Georgia's so loaded on offense. You do have concerns about the running back room. A running back room that features Cash Jones and Roderick Robinson and Andrew Paul is a running back room that features guys that just haven't played that much. Cash Jones playing the most out of all of them. We're the only one. Roderick Robinson and Andrew Paul have literally not played college football. Not a snap in game. They've been in practice, but they haven't played a snap in game. So you do worry about the running back room's health. Can they pull off a win against UT Martin without Edwards and Milton? Yes. I don't think they're going to have to, though. I think those guys are probably going to play. So Georgia, dealing with some injuries, but it's looking up for the Dogs, and they're playing in a few days, guys. Let's get after it.